Trump's been gagged in the Judge Merchant case. This is the Stormy Daniels hush money case against him. It's going to start on April 15th, the criminal trial. And he's got Judge Merchant, who he calls very distinguished looking, but also all sorts of bad names. Trump doesn't like him, says he's suffering from severe Trump derangement syndrome. And in this case, we're going to have witnesses like Stormy Daniels saying, I got paid off to keep quiet about our affair right before the 2016 election. Michael Cohen saying, I was Trump's lawyer at the time and I'm the one who did the payment. And Trump knew all about it. This is, the presumptive testimony. And Trump's been railing, as he does, about anybody who he feels is coming after him, about the judge, about the prosecutor, about the assistant prosecutor, about Michael Cohen, about Stormy Daniels, about everybody. And everybody includes the latest, the judge's daughter, who I have to say, by Trump's standards, it hasn't been that bad. What he said about the Trump's daughter, Trump can definitely go nuclear on you. Trust me. He hasn't yet on her, but he's gone after her a bit. And now, hold on, I'm trying to find exactly what he said. Okay, let's see.
Megyn, I believe it was at Alvin Bragg's request that the family members be added in.
Yes, well, I'll get to that. I just want to set it up what he said. Her name is Loren Merchant. And Trump said, quote, so let me get this straight. The judge's daughter is allowed to post pictures of her, quote, dream of putting me in jail. The Manhattan DA is able to say whatever lies about me he wants. The judge can violate our laws and Constitution at every turn, but I'm not allowed to talk about the attacks against me and the lunatics trying to destroy my life. Maybe the judge is such a hater because his daughter makes money by working to get Trump. And when he rules against me over and over again, he is making her company and her richer and richer. How can this be allowed? Well, then you're right. Alvin Bragg, the DA, went in and said, Judge, you need to expand your gag order. And the judge just did yesterday, saying, you're right. I'm going to expand my gag order to bar Trump from attacking the court's family members, the judge's family members, along with those of Alvin Bragg, the DA, though he can still criticize Alvin Bragg. Trump's not correct that he's not allowed to criticize Alvin Bragg or the judge himself. He can still go after them. And I'll just give you a little color on what the judge said. He said Trump has a pattern of attacking family members of presiding jurists and attorneys assigned to his cases, and that pattern serves no legitimate purpose. It merely injects fear in those assigned or called to participate in the proceedings that not only they, but their family members as well are fair game for defendants' vitriol. It is no longer just a mere possibility or a reasonable likelihood that there exists a threat to the integrity of the judicial proceedings. That threat is very real. The average observer must now, after hearing defendants' recent attacks, draw the conclusion that if they become involved in these proceedings, even tangentially, they should worry not only for themselves, but for their loved ones as well. Such concerns will undoubtedly interfere with the fair administration of justice and constitute a direct attack on the rule of law itself. So there's more, which I'll get to in a minute. But what do you make of Judge Merchant saying, that's it, you're done, you can't attack my daughter, and Trump saying she's fair game, she's a political operative?
I say take it up. In other words, take it up to the appellate court if you think the judge went too far. I'm a huge free speech advocate. I think you don't touch it unless it absolutely clearly steps over the line. He has wide latitude under the First Amendment to spew outrageous and offensive stuff. That said, there are limits. And I know personally, I wouldn't feel bad if somebody came after me, but you come after my family, I can understand why the judge would want to do this. If it runs afoul of the law, then the appellate court would say, hey, judge, you stepped over the line. Your daughter is fair game. And candidly, I didn't know anything about the judge's daughter until Trump said something. And then I learned about it in preparation for the show. So thank you for that. There is a legitimate purpose. It at least lets me discern what credibility I want to give to his statements and decide whether the judge has some type of interest in the outcome. I'm not saying that he does or he doesn't. I just want to know all available information. So I say take it up. Let's see what the appellate court says.
Arthur, the way I see it is, this is not like, your little guys or my little guys. right? Like my kids are 14, 12, and 10. That's not the same. He shouldn't be allowed to go after a judge's minor children. But this woman is an adult and a professional political operative who makes her living getting people like Adam Schiff reelected, who is fundraising off of the Trump trials. So, Trump's point is the more money Adam Schiff raises off of my trial, the more money the judge's daughter makes, who's already been paid, reportedly $10 million by Schiff in his reelection quest. And so why on earth am I barred from calling her out as a partisan hack and saying the judge has an interest in promoting his daughter and everybody on the merchant side will do much better if Trump is a criminal than if Trump isn't a criminal? Why can't he talk about that?
Well, let me just address one thing because what you're talking about, the financial aspect of this and his daughter's financial gain. If she lived in the judge's household, he would unequivocally have to recuse himself, the judge. The ethical rules state that if it's a spouse or a child who lives in the judge's household has a financial interest in the outcome of the matter, then a judge has to recuse him or herself. Now, she doesn't live in his house. She doesn't even live in his state. But boy, I will tell you, and I know it's hard to do from an egotistical point of view, but if I was that judge, I would recuse myself. I said, listen, my daughter is working for the other team. This is the biggest case in the United States of America. And my ethics and my integrity are such that I don't want any interference of that my personal life and my personal views, because I want to protect my daughter, are going to affect my judgment in this case. But, he has a little out because she doesn't live with him. But you're right, Megyn, she does have a financial interest in the outcome of this. In terms of the gag order, for me, I have PTSD with this whole case. It's in the same courthouse, in the same courtroom that I tried the Harvey Weinstein case with the same DA's office, and we were told to shut up. I mean, I went on IMUS just to talk about what was going on in jury selection, like just vanilla, how jury selection works in the county of Manhattan. And I got so yelled at by the judge, and you're not supposed to talk about this case. I said, Judge, it could have been this case or any other case. I was just talking about the logistics. You better not say another word. And then what would happen every day after the Harvey Weinstein case? It was either Gloria Allred or Doug Wigdor having their own press conference, beating the hell out of us. And unlike Donald Trump, who will probably have surrogates protecting his role in all of this, there wasn't too many people standing up for Harvey Weinstein giving his side of the story. So I think gag orders should be put in very limited circumstances. But I think the overall message has to do with witness tampering. The judge does not want to have someone as powerful as the former president of the United States, or maybe the next president of the United States, his words, his Twitter account, so powerful that it thwarts other people who might want to come forward and be witnesses and participate in any trial from doing so.
A word on the recusal, Mark, because there was a request that he recuse himself, and the judge apparently went to Team Trump asked him to recuse himself, and he apparently went up the line. I don't know who he asked, probably the state bar, whether he needed to, and they said, you're good, which doesn't surprise me. But Arthur's right. The standard under section 100.3 of the statute governing when a judge shall recuse says he's disqualified, yes, if there's a minor child and so on, and who's affected. And then it says, if the judge knows that he or a person known by him to be within the 6th degree of relationship to him, which would include a daughter, has an interest that could be substantially affected by the proceeding. Now, I can see the argument that her interest is somewhat attenuated. She's not Adam Schiff, right, running on whether Trump is a criminal. If Adam Schiff were the kid, the judge would definitely have to recuse. She's helping Adam Schiff and Democrats in the Senate run for re-election. So it's more attenuated. But I think if there's a doubt, you recuse yourself as a judge. And the fact that he didn't is what's put his daughter in this situation where Trump has a right to criticize her and to criticize the judge for this relationship, saying this is a family of Democrat operatives. His politics are likely to be those of his daughters. And on his daughter's allegedly now defunct Twitter account, X account, there was, up until a couple days ago, the picture you put of yourself there as your little face, a picture of Trump behind bars. Now, there's a whole story behind that. Here, this is her Twitter handle. And this is what Trump reacted to. Understandably, this is the daughter of the judge. But only when Trump called it out did Lauren Merchant's representative say that wasn't her. She did have that account. Then she deleted her account and all the tweets associated with it. Then someone in April of 23, just as this case was brought, resurrected that account, got that exact account moniker, and they're the ones who posted that picture of Trump, which I have no reason to dispute, but you can understand why Trump reacted to it the way he did. It did, in fact, used to belong to the judge's daughter. In any event, this is all very thick and sticky, and I think the judge has done the wrong thing here. With cyber attacks on the rise, protecting your data security is more important than ever. So why is Congress considering a bill that could put your credit card data at greater risk of being hacked and exposed to foreign networks? Our advertiser, the Electronic Payments Coalition, says the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill shifts billions in consumer spending to less secure payment networks, all so that corporate megastores can make bigger profits. Find out more about the issue at electronicpaymentscoalition.org and decide for yourself if you would like to tell your senators to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.